This is the Ferrari F40. There is no car that has ever held the prestige and heritage that this thing carries. It's widely acknowledged as the greatest supercar ever made. It was designed to celebrate Ferrari's 40th anniversary and carries as much sentiment as it does prestige, as it was the last Ferrari personally approved by Enzo himself. At the time, it was the fastest, most powerful and most expensive car that Ferrari sold to the public, and single-handedly spawned most of the supercars and exotics you see on the road today. It was the first car to be made entirely of carbon fibre. This made the car extremely light, weighing in at only 1100 kilograms, partly because Ferrari chose to omit some of the things that come as standard in modern day cars today. There was no sat-nav, there were no carpets, stereos or airbags, it never had power steering or ABS brakes, there wasn't even any traction control. Such was the determination to provide a natural and undiluted experience that they even done away with glass and used plastic wing mirrors and string for door handles. Their sole purpose was to provide the ultimate driving experience to the person behind the wheel. This regimented and insane mentality to weight shedding took us to new levels in production car performance. Unwritten rules were broken, barriers were blasted down. It was the first production car to exceed 200 miles per hour, hitting a top speed of 201. The cost you pay for a car with no air conditioning? £193,000 back then, which in today's money is $500,000. Now, for those of you who have watched my previous videos, you'll know at this time I'll normally be making a stupid joke or making a strange noise of some sort, poking fun of Americans, poking fun of myself, throwing jibes at fat people. But for today's video, I want to do this car the justice it deserves, because I'm going to take this thing around a track for the sole purpose of finding out the answer to a question: does the F40 still have it? La is the Italian word for the. What we're dealing with here is a 6.3 litre V12 hybrid engine that punches out a mind-boggling 950 brake horsepower. That's enough power to restart a dead planet. And it gives us the perfect reason as to why this thing can hit speeds of up to 219 miles per hour, costing a cool £1 million. This is the Ferrari. And it's what we're going to put up against the F40. So let's head over to the track. Okay, so up first it's LaFerrari. So what we're going to do is one lap each. We're going to start off with a rolling start to build up as much speed as possible. To build up as much speed as possible. And we're going to duke it out and see, has the F40 still got it? So we're approaching the start-finish line, and away we go. Coming up to the first corner, left-hander. Look at that, excellent grip, planted and poised. Absolutely no drama whatsoever. Sweeping right-hander there. Now I should point out that this car is actually made out of 4 different types of carbon fibre, meaning that it's almost the same size and weight as the F40. Add that type of power to this type of lightness and the results are devastating. Strap yourself in, up into 6th gear, approaching 160, we are leaving nothing on the track. And as we can see, the rear wing acting as an air brake there. That's because this car features actively moving aerodynamics controlled by 21 computers. I feel like the car's treating me like a wild teenager who's just discovered smoking. It's viciously slapping me on the head and keeping me on the straight and narrow. Look at that. I got myself into trouble and the 6.3 litre V12 was there to bail me out. Now, approaching the tricky hairpin section, searching for the best line on entry. Look at that grip, bloody Nora. There's so much torque in this thing that you can extract power from any gear at any speed at any RPM. Quite simply, it's unmatched. Exiting the final corner here. Oh, a little bit of a tank slabber there, almost lost it. But as with the rest of the lap, the car remained in control here. Down the home straight, time to give it the beans. Approaching the start finish line. And across the line in 143.678. The gauntlet has been laid down, 143.678. So, F40, over to you. Okay, Grandma, it's up to you now. Gosh, I so want this thing to win. I should be undiluted. I should be unbiased, but right, let's build up as much speed as possible. Let's give it the best chance possible. Down the home straight, approaching the start finish line, and away we go. Coming up to the first bend, and look at that, brilliant. It shrugged its shoulders and handled it with aplomb. Brilliant. And why is the horn beeping? It's got a mind of its own. Now, this thing only, I can't believe I'm saying only, has a 2.9 litre turbocharged V8 which spits out 478 brake horsepower. So the engine is considerably smaller and only half as powerful as LaFerrari. But the great thing about the F40 was that it was designed with aerodynamics in mind. For speed, the car relied more on its shape than its power. And look at the result. Fantastic cornering ability there in third gear. This thing is like driving a go-kart. It's got the agility of a jet fighter. It's absolutely eating up the tarmac. It feels so much more connected. It feels so much more mechanical. It feels like man and machine in tandem. Accelerating out of the corner there. Kissing the rumble strip. It's really down on power in comparison to LaFerrari, but you really hope that it can make up that deficit with its lightness and aerodynamic handling. Right, foot on the gas. Coming up to the last corner, giving it everything we've got. It doesn't feel as fast, but hopefully I can nail this corner. Oh, mamma mia! Enzo will be proud. The Ferrari family will be proud. And now it's just a straight drive to the line. Here we go. And across the... Ooh. Well, there you have it. A resounding defeat there. So what do we conclude from this? That LaFerrari is superior on a track? That it's faster? Well, yes, that may be true. But that doesn't answer the original question, which was, does the F40 still have it? Now, I mentioned at the start of the video that the sole purpose for Ferrari putting this beautiful machine together was to provide the absolute perfect and undiluted driving experience. And in that respect, this car does still have it. I mentioned at the start of the video that I wasn't going to get excited for once, but you can't have helped but have noticed that I did actually get excited whilst driving the F40, and the reason for that excitement was quite simply because you get a greater sense of achievement when driving that car than you do LaFerrari. Don't get me wrong, the Ferrari is a fantastic machine. As a technical exercise, it is the epitome of what can happen when numbers, wizardry and boffins are put together. It is a marvellous piece of machinery, but it just feels too controlled. It feels like the car's doing too much for you. It doesn't feel like man and car. It feels like man and computer and Pentium processor and RAM and for me, the F40 set out to be the driver's car, and it is the driver's car, and it absolutely, certainly, wholeheartedly does have it. Thank you, Enzo. Thank you.